Hello guys and welcome to DarkHorse FM, and in today's video we are looking at a very special 4-3-3 tactic on FM 2022. It's the Zep Guardiola tactic, and I did find this on Discord while scrolling through the community, and I went on to test out this tactic with a specific group of teams, and the results were quite outstanding. In one of the tests, we actually went unbeaten throughout the season, and that's how good this tactic is. As I mentioned, I found this tactic on Discord, so if the original owner of this tactic is looking at this video or is watching this video, kudos to you. You've done a great job creating this tactic. So we went on to test out this tactic with specific set of teams: Hapoel Be'er Sheva, Maccabi Tel Aviv, Trnava in Slovakia, Dun Strada, and Juventus in the Italian Serie A. Most of the teams that Juventus you're aware of, the other teams might be new to you. We'll kick off with Juventus then. Juventus went on to win the league after winning 29 games. They lost only 3 times in the league, and they had a goal difference of 71, having 93 points in total. And then they did go on to have the most points per game, 2.45. The most goals, they scored 98 goals, quite a lot as well. The most possession, so the tactic did retain possession, and the fewest conceded. Juventus were right up there with only 27 goals conceded. They did have the most clean sheets, so the tactic did its own fair bit defensively. So I kind of like the way the tactic turned out for Juventus in the Serie A. They were expected to do it. They were expected to do well in the Serie A, so that's no surprise. They went on to the cup final, but then they lost, and they were only runner-up, and then they went on to the semi-final of the Italian Cup as well. And then they got knocked out in the first round of the Champions League. So outside from the league, they didn't do that well in other competitions, but they did quite well in the league. Off to Slovakia then with Dun Strada. They went on to win the Slovak FA Cup, and then looking at the Slovak First Division, we can see just how good they went on to perform in their own league. Dun Strada went on to win the league, going unbeaten throughout the season with 4 draws, 28 wins, and then playing only 32 games. They had a goal difference of 79 as well, having the highest points total in the Slovakian league with 88. Trnava were in close, or they were third. Slovan Bratislava were actually predicted to win the league, and then Dun Strada and Trnava were expected to be second and third, but then they went on to have a different set of positions after this tactic was tested, and then Trnava came in third. Not as good as Dun Strada did, but then they did well for themselves as well, having, scoring with a goal difference of 41. And then looking at the most goals, Dun Strada and Trnava also bust that sector with 82 and 111 goals. Dun Strada scored 111. Most points per game was Dun Strada with 2.75, and then Trnava had 1.84 in their own most points per game per se. Looking at the shots for the tactic went on to create a lot of shots. Fewest conceded. We can also see Dun Strada and Trnava as well. They were right up there with the teams that conceded the fewest amount of goals in their own division as well. So defensively, the tactic did quite well. Highest amount of possession in the Slovakian league, Dun Strada and Trnava were there with 58% possession. Now I'm interested to see what happened when these two teams met each other. So looking at the league schedule, we can see that Trnava had they got a 2-2 draw from the game, but then in the away fixture, we can see that Trnava went on to lose that game to Dun Strada by 4-2. The Israeli league was a bit more straightforward. Maccabi Tel Aviv and Hapoel Be'er Sheva were the teams that came first and second, and they were the two teams that we tested out the tactic with. Maccabi Tel Aviv did go on to lose 3 times, but then they had a goal difference of 72. And then looking at the most goals, they scored 115 goals. Hapoel Be'er Sheva scored 104. So both teams did that well, scoring those high amount of goals. They were not the highest or they didn't come up top in least conceded. They were third and fourth, but that's still good. Looking at the most clean sheets, Hapoel Be'er Sheva kept the most clean sheet with 14. And I'm here looking for where Maccabi Tel Aviv is. I can't even see them on the list. I'm actually curious, where are they? 9. They actually conceded, or they had like 9 clean sheets, and the Hapoel had 14. And funny enough, Maccabi now went on to win the league, which is strange. Most points per game was Maccabi Tel Aviv with 2.36, and then Hapoel Be'er Sheva had 2.31 as well. So that's just how the tactic worked out for these teams that we selected. You can test them out for yourself and see how the tactic works out for you. So at this point, we're going to go into the tactic in detail. You can follow along with the video, and then you can recreate the tactic for yourself if you just follow the step-by-step descriptions of all the player roles and team instructions. Yeah, so looking at the super keeper, there's a super keeper on support. There are no instructions for him. 2 ball playing defenders on defend duty. There are no instructions, no internal instructions for them as well. There's a halfback, by the way. There's a halfback here on defend duty that kind of forms a back 3, which explains that, okay, there are 2 fullbacks there are two wing backs, that's complete wing backs on attack duty. They are going to be out wide, so it means that they're going to have a back three with the halfback and two ball playing defender that's going to drift into this defensive midfield position here. That kind of works, right? That kind of creates that solid defensive base. In central midfield, there's a Metala on attack duty. On the left hand side, no instructions for him as well. There's an advanced playmaker on support duty, no instructions for him as well. Looking at the complete wing backs on attack duty, they also don't have any instructions attached to them. Looking at the false nine on support duty, no instructions for either false nine, left and on the right hand side. And then in the front man, the main striker is a pressing forward on attack. That's the striker with no instructions for him as well. I love all those tactics where there are no internal player instructions. Although I do love player instructions, but sometimes a plain tactic like this with no internal player instructions that you have to tweak all around, it kind of really makes sense, and it's a joy to behold in Football Manager that it kind of works and scores that high amount of goals in the game as well. So looking at the team's instructions when they are out of possession now, they have been expected to press with a much higher line of engagement and a much higher defensive line. There's a much more often trigger press, and then they've also been asked to prevent short goalkeeper distribution. The team has also been expected to go hard on their tackling, so they've been asked to get stuck in and try and win the ball back as high up as possible, as aggressively as possible, with relentless pressing and a lot of kicking of the opponent. So I like that kind of tactic. Looking at in transition, then the team has been asked to counter press and to counter. The goalkeeper has been instructed to distribute the ball quickly and to distribute it to the fullbacks and the centre backs. Here is where I have a slight issue. They're using complete wing backs in the wing back position. So are fullbacks counted as complete? Are the wing backs, the complete wing back in the wing back position, are they counted as fullbacks? Will the ball get to them if the goalkeeper well, since he's not been asked to throw it or to roll it out, I think that could actually work. Looking at the in possession instructions, then the team has been asked to play with shorter passing while playing the ball out of the fence, and they've also been asked to walk the ball into the box and be more expressive. No other instructions. The crossing has been left to mix, and then everything is left to just standard. The entire mentality of the tactic is an attacking mentality that kind of affects the passing directness and the tempo a bit. So looking at the tempo here, it's currently in standard, but the mentality has been pushed up to attacking. So guys, that's the simple Zep Guardiola 4-2-3 tactics. Let me know how it works out for you. I'm going to leave a link in the description down below so you can download the tactic for yourself. You can obviously tweak it anyhow you want it to be, but originally as it is, it does work. It does get you goals. It does win you trophies. It does win you leagues. So you can use the tactic as it is. I'm going to attach a link in the description so you can download the tactic and test it out for yourself and see how it works out for you. Let me know in the comments how the tactic goes and which teams you're going to use to test out this tactic, and also let me know which tactics you would like to see tested here on DarkHorse FM. We go on to test tactics here a lot on Football Manager 2022. I go on to test tactics from previous Football Manager games as well, so you can also let me know in the comment section your favorite tactics. In case you're playing Football Manager 2021, you can let me know what your tactic is, and we can try your tactic out on FM 2022 as well. So if you're new to the channel, remember to hit the subscribe button so you can get notified when new tactic videos like this come up. I'll catch you guys in the next video with more Football Manager tactics. Remember to leave a like on the video as well, and also to subscribe to the channel and turn on the notifications bell so you can get notified when new videos like this come up. I'll catch you guys in the next video.